I just didn't want anyone that was watching this on YouTube to have to sit through like the same information twice. I'm like, really? Yeah. So that was what happened last time. And then Lady Blackbird atop the wreck of the Owl, and behind her we see this like enormous billboard, this like coils and lamps billboard that's lit up with her face and like wanted information regarding Lady Blackbird. And we will cut from there into our opening montages of our characters. So I don't really care who like goes in what order. So just jump in whenever. But cause, you know, we all know each other. But Lou, because you were late and you've got the best background, you're going to kick us off.
So we're doing the part with the just as we're crashing.
Well, this is like your you know, the opening credits reel.
Oh yeah, like we did last time.
Yeah.
And sorry, I'm derping out. I'm still opening up old pages and shit.
Okay.
So I'm just doing any scene from any time?
Yeah, any scene, any number of scenes, whatever. Like this is about how you would convey where your character, what the audience should feel about your character in like a couple of snaps.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so I think we get the we see the classic like Natasha, Siri, and Naomi walking onto the ship, I guess, and probably like for the first time and being greeted by those crew members and not you know, and the old captain, I guess, like, because that's who was there maybe when they, I don't know how the timeline works, but did that murder happen like right when we got on the ship? That's how I think about it. Anyway, that can be left blurry. Then I think I really like that initial training scene that we saw earlier on with the I think we see Lady Blackbird getting like shoved down to the ground by Naomi. Maybe we'll see her get the shit beat out of her later on. And then I kind of want to, I think maybe we see maybe a scene that we haven't seen yet, you know, that classic, like, ooh, I wonder when this is going to happen. We probably see some making out with young Uriah Flint and young Lady Blackbird. Yeah, and that's mine.
Great. Who does that cut to next? Tamer?
All right. Yes. You see Cyrus, and it's the scene we saw the last episode, like right after he got his arm shot off, and or just a little bit after that, and you see him like about to ditch Arkham, ditch our friend Kale there. You know, like he's holding on to his arm and he's about to run down the hall and looks back and you see Kale like knocked out on the ground. And, you know, he almost leaves and then he turns and grabs Kale by the leg and just drags him down this hallway, right? And we see guards in the distance, that kind of thing. And then maybe like one of the shots we'd seen in an earlier episode. But I think that's the main one where we're like, you know, anybody watching the show is like, oh yeah, that's right. You know.
Awesome. I did love that scene, and I still do. Considering we're talking about Kale, why don't you jump in next?
Yeah. This is from the past, or can be contemporaries.
Yeah, past, future, contemporaries, whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna. So you hear the lights kind of like sputtering, and you see some sparks, and you can hear fluid dripping. And as the camera pulls back, you see Kale hanging upside down in coils of yarn and wiring that are hanging out of the reactor. And as this stuff is dripping on her face, maybe she's got a nosebleed and she's unconscious. And then the camera slowly turns 180 degrees. So she's now upside down, and you can see that she's just hanging by her legs. in the engine room, in the crashed owl.
That's awesome. Who's picking up next?
Yeah, so we have a shot of the owl darting through the big blue, wild blue. And then there's like a shot of like similar to like the last episode's opening scene with Snargle like right up at the windscreen with her Coke bottle glasses, and then cuts to like putting a bowl of like carrying arms of soup and putting on the table from the last game, and then another quick cut to like the really crazy action shot of Snargle like pulling out the knitted parachute and then like crash landing, holding on this tiny little nana goblin. Yeah. Cut to Naomi.
All right, and I think with sorry, I think with Naomi, you see this establishing shot where she's like in Lady Blackbird's room and she's like combing her hair, and she's thinking it's flashed back to right after she spoke with Snargle last time when Natasha asked her to come and braid her hair afterwards. So you see Naomi like standing behind Natasha and just combing her hair very dutifully with this brush, and she's sort of wistfully looking out the porthole window out into the wild blue. And then that brush that she has in her hand, like the camera focuses in on that brush in her hand, that handle, and then you see her having this fight with Cyrus, and they're going back and forth and back and forth, and finally they're up against the wall, and you see Cyrus is kind of on top of Naomi in a way with, and Cyrus has the pistol to her stomach, and she has the knife to his throat, and the shot's taken from the floor, and it's taken from this silhouette of a body on the floor that's surrounded by this black goo. And right as the camera is about to cut, you see Naomi's eyes flick down and see that silhouette on the floor, and then everything goes black.
Ah, so good, so good. I love that goo that avoids blood. It makes me so happy. So these characters are so great. All right, so the place we're going to cut to here is a little bit into the future, but only slightly. And Lady Blackbird, having been recognized on Olympia, has been like captured along with Cyrus, and the two are on their way to Elysium, the planet that Lady Blackbird comes from, and I think that's sort of like we pick it up with Cyrus and Lady Blackbird. I want to say like imprisoned, but not like in a brig, bars imprisoned, but like you've been put in a room, and the door has been locked from the outside. And that's where we sort of pick up the two of you.
Well, this is just great.
Cyrus, I think that meaningfully for you, were you aware of who Lady Blackbird was before?
Yes.
Cool.
I don't think we've gotten any impression that I was, though, up until this point.
Yeah. I think this is like the first time that we're recognizing that. As the two of you are like sitting in this like small locked room, we feel or we see the entire room around you like shudder and then accelerate. And as the ship that's containing this room accelerates, the two of you are like thrown across the room. And the reason this ship would be accelerating is that Snargle, you have the owl in hot pursuit, right? You wouldn't be letting Cyrus and Lady Blackbird get away?
Yeah. Look, hot pursuit is strong terminology. I would like to think of it more like noodly pursuit.
Noodly pursuit. So you're there's a link to what I'm seeing the other ship as there, which is like a fairly small, but like probably about the same size, maybe a little bit larger than the owl, but the size of it is mostly engines. And so it's able to just push itself through the blue with this like intense amount of speed and force. The owl is pretty crippled from, or like, what's the one I ticked? Busted and broken or something like that? Busted and leaking. The owl is pretty busted and leaking from the crash into the surface of Olympia. How are you keeping pace with such a fast ship?
Look, slow and steady wins the race, right? You don't see Nana Snargle rushing about doing things crazy. I think she knows the shortcuts. So So she's got a feeling where this ridiculous machine is taking her passengers.
Yeah.
And so she's just going to, maybe even drop down a couple of gears and just cruise. Like go around
Yep.
between the tall buildings that are here and try and cut them off.
All right. Well, while you're telling me what that looks like, let's build a dipole together. How does that sound?
Yeah.
This ship's faster than you guys, and you're leaking. Now, normally the owl's no slouch, but you're suffering a fair bit of damage. So I think this is probably going to be a 4 that you're looking at.
Yeah. Look, that's easy.
Yeah. All right.
So I am going to use Snargle's piloting skills.
Mm-hmm.
Daring. I reckon we need steady because the owl's all shuddery and gotta like not crash. Maneuvering. Tricky flying. Like the owl like turns on its sides, coughing and spluttering and really reluctant to do this. But Snargle's like, come on, old girl, we've been through worse than this. Navigation. Maps. She has the standard maps, but there's like pen all over it, like crossing out the main highways and then like arrows to where you're meant to go. Yeah, so that's pretty much 6 dice.
Okay, cool. By the way, I'm loving that this is happening like at ground level, like this is on the planet in the atmosphere. You guys like cutting through buildings and stuff. That's great.
Yeah.
I love it.
1 for trying.
1 for trying.
Was there any other like ones that you throw in for being just showing up?
No, you got your 1 for showing up.
All right.
If we're in engagement with each other, I could help possibly.
Yeah, that's cool. So how's Kale helping?
Kale is in the engine room.
Yes.
And she is redirecting power from wireless weapons and sensors all into the power plant to give it an extra boost.
So
yeah. Can you take the power from the TV and shoot it to the engine? Thanks.
Leave the kettle on.
Don't you touch my kettle.
Ari, I'm really interested. On the owl, what does it look like when you transfer power between things?
I think I have to like uncouple and recouple things physically.
Right. So it's just like you moving these like hoses between the drive and like.
Yeah, maybe there's a steam risk, of like if I have to turn off the steam and then like hook it up and pop it back on, and timing is a real issue as well.
Yeah, I love it. I love that so much. All right. So how many dice have you got, Ellen?
So far 8.
I want to add 1 too.
Oh
yeah, cool. So
what do you got, Gnomes?
Yeah, Naomi, you're not like a native to the owl, but there's so much space that's left by Cyrus, like by him not being here. this is a big ship that can't really be flown by the two of them. What are you doing to help out?
I was going to play off. I was going to play off of what Kale just said. So, I think there's all these steam pumps and whatnot, and so you've got all these pneumatic reservoirs, and I could see Naomi with her massive muscles just like manually pumping one of these giant pneumatic reservoirs to try to like pump the gas pressure up again in order to give you just that little bit more thrust while she's kind of like frantically worried about Natasha.
That's also for like Naomi, that kind of that like anxiety is expent as energy. That's really cool.
Yeah, okay, so then that's 9.
9. And you're looking for 4.
And let's go 3 from my dice pool and make it 12.
All right, hit that 12.
Because we're a really good pilot. We're gonna look great.
Especially with your team.
Yeah, this team is killer. Team Gnomes and Kale. All right, funky dice. Switch on my funky dice. All right, 12. Submit. Easy, mate. I got 2, 4, 6, 8 successes. Yeah, go Team Owl.
Ah, nice. So like what's your maneuver? How do you what are you planning to do with these people? I think their plan is to once they get above where the ships depart into like the departure lanes, they're gonna go to like their interplanetary speed and try and blow through the atmosphere that way. Where are you planning to catch up to them?
Well, clearly, Snargle figured out that that's what they're doing. They want to take the bounty. Yeah, obviously. So, if you go, like, on the western side of the Opera House, and then down through, it's essentially a business area. Yeah, left, then right, and then left again. Then next right is really narrow, so you have to roll the owl onto her side. She doesn't like it. She kicks and screams. And then just as, like, you turn the next corner, you have to get straight and shoot straight up. Otherwise, you're going to hit, like, glass wall. So, and then turn the next left, and you're actually at the departure gates, like, because you have to pay a toll to leave.
Yep.
So the departure gates. And
so you're going to beat them there and, like, physically kind of cut them off.
Yeah, literally.
Cool.
Literally.
We cut to, actually, as the owl, like, rolls up and over this thing, and then the other ship sees the owl, they like break into a steep vertical climb, and they just start punching it straight for the atmosphere. And as they do, we see the effects of that on Cyrus and Lady Blackbird, as like the ship rotates and their ceiling becomes the floor, and then it accelerates, and you're both like stuck against this ceiling.
So I kind of like the idea of, as that happened, like we were both just sitting across from each other, right? There's that moment where you see us, like right before all this madness, right? There's a very calm moment where you see us in a cell, right? And the audience is like, what? And then we kind of cut and you see all this crazy madness, right? With the owl catching up. And I love that last part where it does that last turn and there's that glass wall, because I think you don't actually see that wall. And then suddenly, you see the owl just going straight up. And even though you don't see the wall, you now see that the owl's like scraping against this clear thing, right? And so all this craziness is going on. And then we kind of like cut back. And I think the both of us just go flying back, but I think we land on each other, right? Like I think Cyrus
Yeah,
hits
totally.
the wall first, and then Natasha just kind of like, or Lady Blackbird just lands like on him, right? But I think like he kind of like he's got one arm around her, right? Kind of. I mean, in an awkward way, and but I think he just looks down at her very calmly, and he's like, "So, Lady Natasha, this is an interesting spot we find ourselves."
What are you insinuating?
Well, it kind of feels funny that we're so far and yet so close to your home, aren't we? If I'm not mistaken.
Well, I mean, it's no surprise you know I haven't really. You're trying to say you've worked out something clever. I've not really been hiding who I am on the ship, I don't believe. So bravo, you've worked out my big secret.
Yes. Secret. Do you remember when we first met? I doubt it.
No.
It was years ago. It was 10 years ago. And I think, right, like, the audience is going to be like, oh, are we going to get some flashback or something?
Yeah.
Or what's going to happen here? And we don't, right? Like something happens now.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Like as you open your mouth to say the next word, like
The
you
flashback
hear
starts. You hear the like.
that's it. And the ship like spins again, and you both fall separately somewhere this time. So like the conversation gets broken. On the owl though, Naomi, what are you going to do? How are you going to stop this ship and get your lady back? Or are you? Oh, sorry, Stephen. Do you want me to go someone else? Or are you happy? Sorry, you're muted, mate.
No, I'm good. Sorry, it's early here. I was making coffee. So I think she's pumping this pneumatic hand pump, and then when she feels that sense of acceleration up, there's almost like a sense that she needs to be somewhere else. So Naomi's gonna look at Kale and just say, "Nah, I wasn't helping anyway," and then she dashes for the top gun turret.
Great. So, tell me about this gun turret when you come upon it.
So I think I put a fair amount of thought into this week.
Yes.
I think the gun turret is actually like an enclosed like Tesla coil. So I think the gun actually shoots like it looks exactly like lightning, like even with the arcs out and everything. So it has to like charge up, and when the gun shoots, it actually like makes the ship buzz more or less when it's like charging up to fire. But yeah, it basically looks like all this brass material, round glass upper turret, like an old bomber turret, where you can completely see out and everything. And then, there's this Tesla coil, this brass Tesla coil, like projecting kind of off center from the side of the turret.
Oh, that's awesome. And I think we see you like fire the first shot, and it's like, it's obviously underpowered. Like we don't get the big hum. It's like a really, limp kind of flash that just like blows out and it washes over the skin of this thing. And then, Kale like rerouting power to the weapons, and then the second time you like activate it, we hear just this hum of it spinning up. Do you want to take a shot at this thing? Is that your plan?
I really want to take a shot at this.
Well, let's see what that looks like. Let's make some dice.
Poorly.
That's perfect. That's why you've got dice pool and friends, my mate.
So
And while you're doing that, yeah, Lou, if you want to buy off your key of the secret, you absolutely can. Get yourself some advances, some new keys, whatever you want. So go ahead, Stephen.
I think all I've really got is going to be, I want to use Sky Pirate.
Oh, so good. All right.
Now that I have it.
Yeah, I think what's your goal? Because your goal, what you're trying to achieve, will change your difficulty level.
So I think you know, with a low charge in the gun and Snargle, I think we don't need to do a scene for this, but I think Snargle has like showed the basics of this is what the trigger does, this is what the gun does, don't touch the gun. Kind of. But I think like with a low charge, it just immobilizes an enemy vessel. It doesn't like hurt anybody. It just stops it.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I reckon that's like a 3. If you're just trying to like make the ship dead in the water without affecting any of the crew, I reckon a 3 sounds good to me.
Okay. Well, my natural pool is 2.
Dope. You can do it.
So I think I'm going to yell out to Snargle. I'm going to yell down the passage, "Bring her up alongside!"
Yeah, right. Hold your bloody horses. And I'll throw a dice in as well, because obviously you need some skills to help.
So yeah. So Naomi, like, I think there's 2 like big, over clunky foot pedals at the bottom that like swing this gun from side to side. So Naomi is like shifting back and forth on these big foot pedals, trying to like line the gun up and manually cranking it up and down with this hand crank with these massive cogs in front of her. So she's trying to like line this shot up as you move the owl into position.
You are so good at Cyberpunk, Stephen. I think there's got to be a point where like as you're cranking the cogs, it catches on like a bit of branch from where it crashed in front of the opera house, and you like power through that and it snaps the branch in half, and just your big Naomi guns just like pushing on this thing. It's probably, it's just amazing. I love this. All right, so you've got 1 from Snuggle, 1 from yourself, 1 for luck.
Really,
so we're up to 3. You're going for 3. What do you want to do?
So I'll put 3 of my dice pool in there as well. So I'll bring it up to 6.
And I think like the risk of this is that if this doesn't go well, you'll immobilize it, but you'll probably do some damage to Lady Blackbird and Cyrus on the inside.
Okay, well, if I might damage Cyrus, then that's fine. Sorry, Tom. So let me set my funky dice. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and roll with 6 then.
All right, dope.
I got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits.
Oh, so good. So good. Yeah, so talk me through it. Talk me through this like what it looks like as you hit this ship and it becomes like dead in the air, and what that means.
Yeah, so I think there's like, there's this like rising hum, and like Naomi's hair actually starts to like stand up on end, and you see that like fear response in her eyes, but she like hits the trigger anyway, and there's this actual like crack of lightning and like roll of thunder as this gun goes off, and it hits the ship, and you see the normal sci-fi lightning crackle all over this vessel, and then you just see like 3 puffs of black smoke like chuff out of the engines in the back, and then the thing just sort of like goes slack and like yaws over a little bit as it goes essentially dead in the water, dead in the air.
Yeah, it just like hangs in the air above this planet. Yeah, actually, so this chase has gone on long enough that we've escaped like the immediate gravity pull of Olympia. We're like out in the beginnings of the wild blue at this point, and that allows that ship to just hang there, which I think is a really, really nice look. And as it slows down and hangs, Lady Blackbird and Cyrus, you both like fall from the ceiling, and you just hear boots running up and down the corridor outside.
I think I turn to you maybe we're right next to each other on wherever we've fallen, right? And I turn to you and I say, I think it's time you took control of this vessel. And I reach out and I put my hand, like, maybe next to me is like one of your legs or something, right? And I put my hand on your leg in kind of like a weird way. And I think I'm gonna teleport her.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
to the bridge of the ship or something, right? Like out of the cell and straight into the middle of the bridge.
Awesome.
And see what she does.
Yeah. Can we get, sorry, just because like, I think you've got a really broad idea of this ship, but like teleporting through it and ending up in the right place, I think I want to see what kind of scene you're going to be teleporting yourself into. So can we get some dice on this one?
Oh yeah.
I don't think
Totally.
it's much because this is what you do. This is, yeah, I think this would just be a 3 as well. But
Okay.
I need to see what we teleport into. And I think, yeah, the stakes of it would be like whether you end up in the bridge or whether you end up like surrounded by troops somewhere else near the bridge, basically.
I think Lady Blackbird can help just through like, is this magic? This is magic of some type that you're doing, or is it a device?
I think it's magic that's inherent to who I am.
Yeah, cool. I'm just gonna say I can help just because I'm magic, and like it's, you know what I mean. I can kind of tell what's happening as it's happening, and
Yeah.
like, or maybe some of my power is because I'm like you. Maybe because you're touching me, some of my power like flows into you, and say like,
I think there's definitely like some kind of like purple glow around my hand when I'm touching you. And I kind of like that idea of like you're so quick to the draw with magic-y stuff that like even though no one in the show has seen it yet, right? Like you're like, wait a minute, are you gonna like you almost like there's that moment of like, yeah. So you kind of know it's coming or something, right?
Oh boy, so many questions coming out of that for later. That's awesome. Okay, so what dice we got?
So I kind of all right. I think this ship, and you let me know, Sid, if this is like off
Won't,
key.
but that's cool.
Yeah, but I think I know this ship, and I think it's a smuggling ship.
Okay.
I think
who pilots this ship?
I think her name is Jaji.
Jaji. And Jaji, what does what does she put you to shame in doing? What makes her a better in what way is she a better smuggler than you are?
I mean, I learned most of my smuggling through her. Cool. So I worked under her for a long period of time.
Jaji. Beautiful. Love it.
That's why she knows I'm valuable, actually. That's why, she's going to turn me in the same way she's going to be turning in the lady here. Absolutely. We're like the two most valuable things for her.
Yep. Oh, that's so good. All right. So what do we got dice-wise?
So we've got one to try, right? I think I'm going to use Smuggler here. And specifically, I want to say, like, I think I know the ship, right? Mm-hmm. So I want to say maybe like I almost want to say like pilot and navigation, but it's really about knowing this vessel and where all the different rooms are and that kind of thing, right? Like the actual layout of the rooms.
Yep. If you used to be the pilot of this ship, I reckon that pilot would work.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the role that you held on Jaji's ship. You were her pilot.
Yes. Cool. That's where I learned how to fly.
Yeah. Dope.
Before that, it was just soldier, right? Yeah, that's all I got so far.
And my
That's
health
cool.
one.
And a help
And
one.
your help, right? Cool.
But
So
this
that's
is
what-
this is
Mhm.
teleporting, right? You're trying to teleport back onto the owl.
No, it's
No.
to the bridge
Yeah.
of the ship that
Bridge.
we're on.
Okay. Yeah.
I just wanted to fuck shit up. So that's
Yeah.
4. I
Teleporting
think.
to the owl would be almost impossible here because Cyrus doesn't know where the owl is referenced this ship. So like that would be
I was gonna say, if you want to jump to the owl, I can use magic. You could use me as a homing device later.
Oh, right. I see what you're saying.
I kind of want to end up on
Nah.
the bridge of this ship and have to do some crazy shit.
Yeah, I got to see this bridge thing first. Y'all aren't just jumping in the
All
owl yet.
So I've got 4 dice. I think I'm going to add 2 for my pool and make it 6. And we'll see what happens.
All right, let's see that. So we're looking for 3. We've got 6.
All
What are the chances, you know?
Exactly. Let me see all the, where's the other funky dice? I'm going to choose orange. And let's see what happens. Oh, those aren't orange. Those are like red. That's 2.
Oof.
That's 2.
Do you have anyone got a secret there that they want to use to re-roll that? No? No? That's cool. I don't know what you're...
Cool.
No, that's cool. All right. If you if nobody wants to re-roll that with a secret, I'm okay with
I
it.
could
So
potentially
I'm looking at it. If you want to, you can.
like
It's
'Cause
there. It's there for that
I'm-
stuff.
I've got the secret of inner focus. Like it says I can re-roll a failure while doing sorcery, but potentially, if, like I think we've established it in the fiction, if as I realize that that Cyrus has actually teleported me out into space, I can like like reroute. Maybe there's like 2 I'm heading, like that sliders kind of wormhole thing. I'm like, and there's like a branch up ahead, and one's like out of the ship and falling to my death.
and we like physically see the hand on your leg like starting to lose the grip, like that's you're being detached from Cyrus.
Yeah, cool. So let's say that you can re-roll it.
You can
or
re-roll.
will I roll it?
I think you should roll
You
it.
can re-roll it. It's your secret.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna re-roll the exact dice. Okay. Here goes something. Oh, I got a 3. What were we aiming for? A 3.
3 was
Yeah.
good.
Whee!
So because of the real, we'll splash that in as well. So Cyrus, as you come to on the bridge, like where you land, your hand is not on Lady Blackbird, and she's not here with you at the moment. No stress on your success, Lou. You will be in short time. But there's like just you at the moment. And on the bridge, so what does the bridge of this ship look like? I imagine it's pretty cramped, being a small
Oh, it's
ship,
very
right?
cramped.
Yeah.
And I think, like I'm looking at my hand, right? And I see that it's empty. And like, I look up and I mean, it's so cramped. Like I'm actually like under the chairs, right? Like there's a chair right above me, which is where, somebody's piloting the ship. And it's somebody kind of like nondescript, right? They've got like a helmet on and some visor and whatever. But then I turn and like look over my shoulder, and that's where you get a view of this kind of cramped quarter. I think there's like 3 chairs all facing, toward the window, which is like the cockpit view. And then right behind them, there's like the center like captain chair, right? That's a little bit elevated, almost like kind of you'd see on like a Star Trek ship or something, right? Except this is so crowded, it's not like in the middle of a big room, right? It's just right there. And that's where we see Jaji looking down at me, right? And I think she definitely looks like different, right? Like she's got like maybe like red kind of skin, like very like magenta red, right? and she's very strong, almost like like we
Can I
imagine.
actually-
Yeah.
Can I
Oh, no,
I
go for
give something? I would love her to be like a goblin. I'd love her to.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
yes, please. And so, but she does look different, like than we've seen, our Snargle, right? Like, maybe like she's a little bit bigger. She's got kind of like a more youthful vibe, very strong, different like skin tone, something like that. Oh, you're mute.
I think just physically, like goblins are shape changes, right? So she's like more angular, like she looks sharper, and yeah, you can see like the scars from years of fighting her way through horrible planets and stuff like that.
And I think she probably at this point notices me down there on the ground,
Oh yeah,
like
Oh,
for no reason, right?
yeah. So she spots you on the ground, and she takes like 2 steps towards you, and it feels like she should be further away, but this thing's so cramped, like she's almost right on top of you, and she pulls you out with these hands, and she looks completely unarmed, but as she like pulls you out by your collar, she grows like a blade of flesh from inside her wrist that sits up against your chin, and she is holding on to you, and she sees like the captain badge that you've got stuck to your lapel, and like the blade retracts slightly, and so while she's got you, the eyes of the other 2 or 3 people in this cockpit are on you, and Natasha, this is where you phase in further to the back, probably like behind where the captain's chair was, and out of view of everyone else in this cockpit. I want to come back to this scene quickly because I just want to dash off to the owl and find out what's the owl's plan. Like you've immobilized the ship. How do you get what's the next step?
Can we quickly see just I think as Lady Blackbird materializes, she's immediately pulling out her gun and her sword, and then it like flashes away.
Oh, actually, and just before that, can there be this one thing where Cyrus is being held there, right, up by his scruff, and he actually says, "Hi, love," kind of like in a disarming kind of way.
Yep. And I think just over Jaji's shoulder, you see like Natasha appear behind this chair, and then you probably see the pistol come up. So yeah, Owl team, SEAL Team Owl.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we've got some harpoons with shade ladders attached to them we could shoot across to climb and board the ship. Kale knows where they are.
Yeah, we keep them. They're actually probably near the gunning station. We could load the guns with them and just fire the
Yeah.
off of there. So maybe you call over to me, and maybe so your Bishop is up in the gunnery room, so I'm down below loading the pneumatically sealed harpoon ladders into the tube, and then calling up to her. You got to shoot this. Don't worry, it's gonna work. It's a ladder. The goblins got it all. Snargle's got it all set up perfectly. Don't worry about it. And I pop it in place.
Perfectly.
Yeah, and like
probably made a yarn.
like this immobilized ship, I think we see like it. Where's my picture of it so I can think of where it goes in? So there's like a glass section at the back. There's like it'd be like a plexiglass sort of section at the back, which is designed to give you like a rear view of anyone chasing you, which would be very useful in a smuggler ship. And sorry.
Would it also have the side benefit of particularly strong ex-pit fighters being able to punch through.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think even the pneumatic things that you've got go through them as well, and we probably just see that shot of like the these 2 rounds, and then a little like crocheted ladder folding out in between them.
yeah, and the crocheted ladder's got some decorative like squares on it as well as being functional. Like it's pretty.
It's pretty. It's color coordinated, and I think the big thing is, and the point of danger that you guys will find coming across the ship here is that where being a smuggler ship, they've gone to fly low into Elysium, and we're just sort of starting to touch the top of the lower depths now. And there's bits of the crochet ladder, like the bits that hang down the lowest, start to like smoke and blacken as the mist like starts to burn away at them.
Shit. Should have loaded up the anti-corrosion Grandma squares rather than this one. All right, Naomi, get across there quick. Get those 2 and get back before the ladder snaps. You've probably only got 10 minutes at best.
I need 5, and she's just gone. Like ripping her way across this yarn.
Yeah, that's awesome. Can we see some dice for that? And I think this roll is going to like set the tone for how well this ladder is holding for your way back. Basically, this is going to be the shot of whether, as you run across it, like snaps away or
I think for getting across the ladder, I'm actually going to use Keen. Because she's kind of paying attention to where it's safe to go and where it's maybe safe not to put her hand.
Yeah, spot on.
So I'm going to use Keen, Aware, and Traps, maybe. So maybe 4 would be my pool.
Okay. I think we're looking at this is like, as I said, lower depths. It's crochet ladder. I'm happy to go for 4 for this. So your rating, your target is 4.
One from Snargle, and fingers crossed that her crocheting skills can hold your burliness.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's 5. I'll go ahead and put in 2 and make it a 7, an even 7. And I need 4?
4.
Okay. Hang on. I'm going yellow dice. Hey, I got 4. Look at that.
Mate, there is no power in the verse greater than Grandma Snargle's knitting. She has crocheted an excellent ladder, and as you step across it, like we probably see like bits of your boots smoke as they like sink lower in the ladder, and bits like fold away. But the main portion of this boarding ladder is put together, and then across the other end is this like glass window that with 2 probably just below it in the steel of the thing are like these 2 pinions holding up this ladder that leads back to the owl.
Okay.
And inside, probably from where you are, inside, let's say, so we're coming in from the back of the ship here. You can see right up the length of the center of this ship. And at the far end, you can see Lady Naomi kneeling behind a chair with a pistol in one hand, rapier in the other. Oh, and you can see Cyrus being like shirt collared by the captain of the ship.
Okay. Yeah. So I think Naomi is climbing along this and clambering and looking down to make sure that she's not falling into the corrosive material. And she looks up and she sees Natasha down the way. And as soon as she sees her, like, again, that like fear response hits her eyes, and she just leaps the last 5 feet, like clinging onto the skin of this vessel. and like there are a couple of bits of this vessel because it's a smuggling ship. So there are a couple of bits that have like rusted out just a little bit, just enough for her to get her fingers through. And she actually just slams one of her fists through, grabs two sides of it, and rips it apart like a can opener. Just enough for her to like actually weasel her way inside the ship by tearing the aluminum apart.
That's so great.
That would be her secret of destruction, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So for everyone who doesn't know secret of destruction, you break things with your bare hands as if you were swinging a sledgehammer. It's scary, and I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it real.
Yeah. So she rips her way into the ship and just like crawls through, like, you know, with the sherds like tearing into her skin just a little bit as she like weasels her way inside.
Dope. Cyrus, Zhaji like puts you down in front of her, and she brushes some like fake dirt off your shoulder in this really patronizing way. She says, "Oh, I'm sorry, Vance. I didn't realize I had a captain on board my ship."
It's almost like we're equals.
When you say that, she like grows another inch or two, just so that she can look down her nose at you further. And she
I love that. Like, we're like equals, and then it's like, all right.
Vance, you were a liability to me, and this is the first time in a long time that you have proven yourself valuable. Very valuable, in fact. Do you know how many credits I'll be able to pull in?
You say that, but I think you don't know how valuable I am yet. You know, don't settle for the cheaper score.
She shrugs and says, "Oh, I'm not. I've also got that lady that you brought with you, the Lady Blackbird, Vance. You've gone a long way from picking up pirate girls in sleazy bars. Now you're trashing nobles."
Don't call yourself a pirate girl from a sleazy bar. Don't sell yourself short. I kind of like that I would have to dodge her like punching me in the face or something, or maybe she just punches me in the face.
This is like, yeah, this is where she so she like reaches a hand up like really, really gently, and she grows one of her fingers to brush a bit of hair off your forehead, and then with that hand like holding your face, she just like swings with the other one. And I think she's like formed that fist into just like a brick of goblin flesh, and it just hits.
Oh yeah, I'll take that.
Lady Blackbird, you just saw Cyrus get punched.
Yeah, I think she's gonna start shooting. But I think it'll be like I'm gonna aim for high precision, like takeout, sort of like highly trained. Well, she pretty much is gonna shoot her in the legs, I think.
All right, this is shoot to wound, is it?
Yeah.
Right.
Which I never understand why real life police officers can't do that sort of thing. Surely they're trained well enough.
No, man, I could talk to you about it. We'll talk about it another time.
I think we might have talked about it before.
So let's see some dice on this, man, because like there's risk. There's risk of hitting Cyrus for one. There's risk of hitting something in this ship.
Yeah, and plus I don't think I'm particularly good at this either.
I think you're pretty good.
So I did unlock some. I unlocked some shit, which is why I'm even. She didn't have pistol.
There you go.
Or acrobatics or anything like that. So I think maybe she's probably going to do some sort of cool cartwheel while she does it, just because I also want to use acrobatics.
All right.
But beautiful. Also because it should look cool, right? I think I reckon she'll throw her. She throws her rapier in first, and it like pins some clothing to the floor, and then she'll shoot. So that's
And you've got like 3 or 4 people in here. You've got the captain Jaji, and then you've got like 2 other
totally.
people. Are you
I
taking
totally
them out
didn't
as well?
know that. Yeah, I'm totally going to take them out as
All
well.
right, I reckon that's a 4 because you're taking out a group here.
Okay, cool. So I've got athletic. I'm gonna say rapier for throwing the thing. This is not a duel because that's more of a one-on-one thing, hey?
This is the opposite of a duel.
Yeah. What? I don't know. It depends how you define duels, right?
I imagine now. This is just me. If you want to tell it something else, you can tell me. I imagine duels is like noble duels. You know, you fight
right.
1v1 for honor sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. All the 10 like 10 paces
That kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay, athletic, rapier, shooting, pistol, and acrobatics.
You gonna do a flip?
Yeah, totally.
Fuck yeah.
And did you say it's a 5 to do it?
I said it's a 4, but if you want it to be a 5, you can have.
Okay, sure, it's a 5. That sounds pretty hard.
Let's say I'll give you like a graduated success thing, which is a 4 takes out everyone in this thing. A 5 does it without Cyrus getting hurt.
Do I care about that or not? Yeah, she's trying not to hurt him. Definitely. And then I'm going to throw all 5 of my pool in just because I want to look awesome.
Fuck yeah.
So that's 10. I'm assuming maybe that Cyrus can help me by just getting punched in the head and distracting someone. Or do you have a cooler way to help?
Yeah, and well, no, I think that's it, right? Like, Jaji punches Cyrus in the face.
Well, this is why he was being provocative, right?
Right, and it looks like he kind of just knocked over, but we see like his leg kind of intertwined with hers, like he's going to with the captain's, right? So I think maybe he's planning a move, right? Depending on how these rolls work out, you can see his hand and legs are kind of like trying to do a thing.
Cool. So I'm gonna roll 10 dice. Ooh, funky dice. 10.
10 for 5.
Yeah, I smashed it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I think seeing as I rolled so high, yeah, I think maybe Cyrus even managed to kind of get the goblin captain like out in front of him a little bit, and like as he does, I think maybe I kind of like maybe that she's even. Yeah, I think this rapier like pins her to the floor. Oh, maybe I totally shoot through that hammer hand. And she's like, "Ah!" with some little like cute little goblin scream. And then I think she just wings the other. Did you say there's 3 other people?
2 others, 2 total. But yeah,
2 others.
And then Cyrus is a 3rd. So yeah.
Oh yeah, cool. I think she I think maybe as they come up and go to grab stuff, she just like shoots through all of their hands.
Just like one shot goes through like 3 people's hands.
No, that sounds too much. I think
it's awesome.
Maybe it's 1 shot each.
Yeah.
Like just one shot, like in the other one. Yeah. That sounds fun.
That's
and maybe great. 1 straight shot, like just go straight past Cyrus's face, just because.
And Naomi like enters the bridge at this point with like this like wounded and immobilized crew. Cyrus standing there with like like probably bleeding from his nose, like black eye sort of thing.
And I'm gonna say a burn mark from that shot too.
Yes.
Does Lady Blackbird notice that Naomi's here yet? Or do you want to have some sort of thing where if she does notice, I think she's going to be like, did I do it right?
I think it might be kind of cool if like Naomi was silhouetted in the doorway, and then you guys, whatever you guys had reaction to that between Cyrus and Natasha happened, and Naomi like saw it.
Yes, like
yes.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah,
so good,
I like
so
that
good.
too.
Steven, you're the best.
I think then I'm just calling myself Lady Blackbird from now on. I think Lady Blackbird, she looks at Cyrus and she's like, "You're right, Cyrus. I do need to start taking control of things a little bit more around here."
And I think you know we have Jaji and crew are kind of like immobilized, right? But they're not. I mean, they're still there, right?
They're definitely still there.
And maybe there's you know, just kind of this moment where they get shoulder to shoulder, right? Like, you know, we push kind of the crew to like a corner of that cockpit, and I kind of like that. Yeah, like Naomi sees the two of them really like touching shoulders, right? And I think Cyrus just needs to acknowledge, you know, just be like that was some impressive work right there, you know.
I had a good teacher.
Yeah. Nice.
And is that the shot where, like, with that little, like, close but not intimate look between you two, we then see, like, Naomi between that, like, framed between your hands?
Yes.
And what's your entrance, Naomi?
So actually, I think like Naomi looks out and she sees like this smoking gun in Natasha's hand, and she sees that everyone inside has been various forms of incapacitated, and that these two are sharing this moment. And she like looks and she thinks about it for just a second, and then instead of entering, she like kind of moves to the side, like in the lee of the or in the lee of the doorway, and sort of gets out of the way for a minute and lets Natasha do what she's going to do.
Wow.
Like she sees that Natasha can take care of herself a little bit.
But totally ready to jump in and fuck people up if it's if it doesn't go well.
Is this a big enough moment for Naomi that you're looking at buying off Key of the Guardian, or is that?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I'm moving in that direction. I'm
Okay.
kind of, yeah.
Cool. We can do
What
that
do you
as
think?
we go. Cool. I love it. So I think like the two of you are kind of free to move to the exit. You heard the tearing of the thing. Like there's an exit. You could probably almost see it from where you are.
I'd kind of
On this
like to
small
see. I think maybe Lady Blackbird walks out like through that little doorway, and we see maybe even passes Natasha, passes Naomi, like in the dark, and doesn't see her. But I kind of want to see what Cyrus does with these like incapacitated like people if he's left alone with them. Like I want to see that on screen. Like,
Right.
yeah.
I don't think Cyrus does anything. I don't think I do anything harmful to them. But what I'm going to do is, I know this ship, right? So I'm going to disable the ship, right? So, as they're looking on, they're holding their hands that have been, shot through, and they're all kind of looking at me. Then I probably address Jaji, and I'm like, I hate to pull this, out of your wallet, but it's going to be another day, before you get paid. And I think like I reach into maybe there's like part of the mechanisms around the bridge components or something, and kind of reach in and grab one or two little plugs, like I rip them out, and there's probably like some little hidden compartment that like I kind of trigger, and something pops out. It's like a little, maybe it's the key or something like that for the turbo drive or some shit, and like just pull some of this kind of stuff. And I think I say something like, you guys should be good enough to stay out of the deep, and just grab that and jet.
So as you're like leaving, Jaji's hand like snakes out and grabs you, and she pulls herself along with her good hand pulls herself along, and like struggles to get to her feet. And as she leans against you, and you can see that like she doesn't have the strength to like change her form up to this big height that she had before or whatever. So she's a little bit shorter than you now. And as she like leans on you with this one hand, the other one like broken and useless, she looks you in the eye from beneath you, and she says, "I never loved you, and neither will she, Cyrus."
And I think there's a moment where you see like almost like this kind of like anger on the face, but then he softens it, and he just kisses her on the forehead, and shrugs her off, and then takes off.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh man, that's so great.
Kiss on the forehead is a punch.
That is much worse than a punch. Now I gotta throw in another captain for you to punch sometime. That's great. Far out. Okay, I need to take a break because I'm peaking after that. That was really cool scene. Everyone okay with a 5-minute break and coming back? Now, is everyone having fun and engaged and stuff at the moment? Cool. All right.
That was a great way to start the session, dude.
Yeah, it felt really, really good. I want a Kale scene next because he had some really cool like mechanic-y stuff there, but I want to get like a full-up Kale scene next. So I'm thinking we might like jump to one of the other planets next, like Night Haven or Nightport or Haven, and we'll see how that goes. Oh man, Stephen, you and I, best friends. I will catch you guys in 5 past the hour. Hi, Lou.
Hi, sorry we were late.
That's all right. I've come to expect no better from you.
I'm always the first here.
You are. You're always so prepared. No, it's okay.
Yeah. I'm normally an early person because I get super anxious if I'm like running late. So like if I ever have to catch a plane, I like get there like 4.5 hours before it leaves and read my book like right near the gate.
I love doing that. I love it. I've got a 7 a.m. flight to the US in May, and so I'm going to be there at like 4 a.m. drinking beers. It's going to be
Yeah,
great.
awesome.
Anyway, yeah, I was actually thinking I should have gotten in touch with you because I knew that you'd had to cancel a couple of games and stuff like that. I should have been thoughtful enough to do that.
That's fine. We were going to turn up.
Eventually. So, quick question. Of the 3 that are here so far, which of you have played Lady Blackbird and which of you haven't? You're also awesome at it. I've totally forgotten.
I've never played.
I've never played.
Oh, okay. And Lou, you have. And we went to Nightport, didn't we? Yeah. Don't know which planet I want to go to first. Because we have so much playtime left. It's great.
I was thinking that we're low on fuel.
That's
and
true.
not in a good state, so we might have to make a difficult choice about where we're going to park.
I mean,
Yeah. What are those 2 conditions that the ship has?
the ship has need fuel and busted and leaking, but I imagine you'd steal a fair bit of fuel off.
Yeah, I was going to say
that. Yeah,
that could be a good, like, we walk into the the ship and definitely Snargle's like, saying something about being low on fuel, and we kind of like drop 2 big drums of something.
Yeah, it's man. I don't know if I want to go like full up blades and have it be like that. The sky squid oil, that stuff that it like leaked all over your floor is the fuel that burns.
I totally took the Secret of the Sky song. Like I know how to call a sky squid. I still have to justify it somehow in my backstory or why I can do it. But I've got the secret of the sky song now, so that could totally be a thing.
Didn't you like build consciousness with the universe as well at one point?
I was going to say I think that might have been where it came from, being in the lower depths and having some weird connection with a giant naked sky god.
Awesome. By the way, because I was so bad at last time, Tamer, I don't know why I say your name like I'm making fun of you. I'm sorry. Terms, your job is to tell me at 50 minutes from now if I haven't caught it already that we need to start wrapping up so that you can go to sleep.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not doing it to you 2 weeks in a row. I'll fuck you on the 4th week, but not now.
All right. One question with the scenes and doing the XP stuff. We can do that whenever, right?
Yeah, I've kind of just left that on your because otherwise I get a little bit task saturated. But
I'm just gonna say I'm gonna take from the last scene.
And Lou, I'm super. Not Lou, sorry, Ellen. Lady Lou, I'm super hoping you've taken Key of the Daredevil once or twice for your awesome shit.
Yeah, and I also yes, I did that, and I took a key. I took a XP for something else. I can't remember, but it was definitely good.
You probably said something that I laughed at. I'm a soft touch. Kale, got a question for you. The owl needs to be repaired. You're the maintenance head. Which of these 2 planets is more likely to have the pieces that you need to repair the owl? There's Haven, which is a really prominent like free world trade section. It's big thing about Haven, and the reason it's called Haven is that slavery is outlawed there. It's the first place in the Wild Blue where slavery is outlawed. So a lot of people like gather there to like slaves will escape from Elysium and Olympia, and they'll hang there. Really, really, really popular with the goblins for that reason. Nightport is the other one, and Nightport is like a hive of scum and villainy. It's a planet that doesn't rotate, so there's part of it that's always in light and part of it that's always in dark, and the part that's in dark is the part that you'd want to go to, which is like full of piratey shit, and like, yeah, you can buy anything in Nightport. So like Haven is a logistical trading hub, and Nightport is a piratical, you could get anything here. So which of these do you need to go to?
I feel like Kale's got that burglar streak still running through her. And I think that Haven is probably a better place for that.
Cool.
Nightport would be where she would sell it, or she would get some like really illegal stuff, but Haven is where you can pull these kind of stunts.
Absolutely. Yeah, so Haven would be, if you tried to fuck like that in Nightport, you would probably just get like murdered on the street. But Haven has a little bit more law and order to it.
Yeah.
So we see the owl coming in and like landing over the top of Haven. And what I would like to do is we'll paint the scene together, and I would love to get from people like, what is it about this place that shows it is a so I'll read out the thing. In the sprawling city hubs, the trade union tries to impose some order on the bickering clans and factions of the free peoples. Slavery is outlawed here, so many ex-slaves make Haven their home. So yeah, I would love to hear like what you see out the window as the owl comes into land over this city. And I think the other thing is I want to leave you to last, because I want to hear some like goblin shit. I want to hear like what the goblins of Haven are about. So why don't we start with Stephen?
So I think Naomi's looking out the portal down to the bottom, and she sees sort of these. She sees purple bodies, and she's excited to like see these purple bodies and whatnot when she looks out. But what she actually sees, because they're freed slaves, is they're still living in like kind of tenements and slums. So even though they're not necessarily like serving anybody, she can tell that they're still living like this very downtrodden kind of existence. They still don't have the money. They're still not necessarily living well. And it just jolts her that, you know, this is still a complicated place, not the literal Haven that she thought it might be.
Yeah, because for yourself and Lady Blackbird, this is the first time sighting Haven. All you've heard is stories. So Lady Blackbird, let's talk to you. What do you see that kind of sets it apart from the stories?
I think building off the back of that, I think Lady Blackbird's eye is drawn towards maybe the like there's like there are some like towers or like I'm kind of picturing like houses, like those kind of like flying saucers on on sticks kind of thing, you know, like up above the, like raised up above the city. And I think they're similar to the new houses. Yeah, Jetson houses, totally. They're similar to the new. I think they're like Jetson houses, but with more like wood and, you know, like precious metals and stuff like that. I think they're kind of like similar to houses that like the upper class are building in other places. So she's notices, so maybe there's still that discrepancy here of like the like haves and the have-nots sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Cyrus, you've been here a bunch. What do you see looking out over Haven? What do you see that like makes it feel a little bit like home, I guess?
I think there's it's not cityscape, right? So I mean, we do see you know, kind of these like slum tenements, and we see like the high-rise style, you know, apartments or whatever, and some combination of stuff in between. But there's also a little bit of a focus on some of the planet, you know, just around that, and we see that there's you know, we see vegetation, we see a little bit of like, you know, kind of like wild forest looking like spaces, and some grassland and that kind of thing, right? So I think there's just you know, something that looks more like us as the audience going like, oh, a natural, you know, it's not just rock and steam and gears and dirty, you know, whatever. Like there's actually a little bit of something else there as well.
And I think like really startlingly different from the bits of green that we saw in Olympia. They were like all artificial and like starkly green, and this has like it's going through the colors and like browns and oranges and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Hello, Porridge. Kale, what do you see looking out over this thing? And like, I want to get the sense of like industry from it. Like, what do you see of the huge amount of spaceships that come through here?
Yeah, probably you see lots and lots of grime and filth on the lower levels, and then in the upper levels of the city, it's cleaner. That's where most of the most of the traffic. There's probably also really massive docking stations attached, like corporate buildings, things like that. Maybe even temples. This is a very cosmopolitan place. So to keep all the gangs and different factions happy, there's probably you know, shrines and these colossal temple structures dotted around the city. Keep everybody happy.
Okay. I really like that. I really love the addition of the temples there. And Ellen, tell me about the goblins of Haven.
So the goblins of Haven are free. They're not required to serve anyone, but because they've been slaves for so long, they don't know how not to be a slave. So they continue those menial jobs and backbreaking labors, and when they're looking for a job, they'll get hired quite quickly because unscrupulous employers will know that they can treat a goblin like a slave. But unlike elsewhere, in Haven, the goblins are given opportunity to follow their natural instincts, and that is where we start to see this really beautiful connection between goblins and machinery. So in the back channel just before, we were sort of talking about like why are goblins pilots, and I'm finding that goblins are able to communicate with machinery, and that it is natural to them. And I think when they are coming of age, that skill is grows tremendously, and it gives them the opportunity to form a strong bond with a particular piece of machinery. Like in other cultures, you know, you might have your horse or your dog or, you know, your eagle, but goblins have their machinery, and that can also be quite advantageous in terms of trying to make some money because they're really good at talking to airships.
That's awesome. It makes me want to cry a little bit.
Go ahead.
No. So the owl lands down in the lower part of this, in amongst the like commission housing and the grime, probably like between a landing pad that's set up between like 4 trees, with the trees as corner posts, and the owl sits itself between it. We can see it like comes down really hard and like steam jets out from it that probably didn't do that last time it landed. And and their crew like are able to disperse off on their shore leave, and we'll find where each people go. But I think first, yeah, I do want to see Kale on your hunt for the parts that you need. Do you have a particular contact that you go to?
Yeah, there probably is somebody here.
Or do you just like walk the streets and look for the product that you need?
I think for this particular one, I'm probably going to just keep a low profile and kind of find it on my own. Yeah, maybe prowl.
Just before Kale like leaves the ship, so we landed, right? I think there's definitely, one of the things that we saw Cyrus grab from the last vessel, before he jetted out of the cockpit, and we didn't know what it was. He kind of throws it over to Kale, and it's like, a packet of money or something, right? Like maybe that was one of the secret compartments. He knows where the money was hid, right? And so, there's one of those little exchanges, like, here, this should help.
Yeah, I wink back and I say, well, there's going to be more of this coming pretty soon.
And as you walk through the, so I imagine it being like a bazaar, like a really ramshackle, a lot of very quick stalls built, maybe with something to like shield them from the like dust storms that would kick up. So they've got like tent flaps that they can fold down or draw up, and at the moment they're all drawn up because the weather's fine. And like as you pass them, there's a lot of goblins and these purple skinned people along here, and one of the goblins is like leaning out to you and holding out this plate of like unidentifiable food. It's got like that soupy quality, like Snuggles soup did, and it's if this planet were to have rats, it would probably be rat legs, but God knows what it is at the moment. And like this goblin won't leave you alone. Like he keeps like and like chasing you and muttering in this language that's undetterable or interpretable for you. And then I think one of the purple skinned people just like comes out and like kicks this goblin away, just like physically punts him away, yelling after the goblin in that same language, in the same language that we heard Naomi speak before, yelling it in this language, and then like just puts an arm around you in a really familiar way. It's like, sorry, my friend, I'm sorry. The goblins, they get so excited when someone comes in all covered in grease. They like the smell,
Yeah, when he says grease, like I look at my shoulder where his person's hand is, and kind of nudge them off, saying, "Yeah, grease, very dirty. I don't know if I like the way you treated that goblin."
And he like brushed it away, and he goes, goblins. You don't like the way I treat that goblin? I get you a new goblin. I treat the new goblin better. Go find goblins everywhere. Dime a dozen.
So, I'm in the market for something. You want to get my attention?
Spreads his hands out. He's like, everyone's in the market for something. This is the market, my friend.
Yeah, I'm looking for plating. Ship plating. High grade. Wait.
And it's well, ship plating. Yeah, I can get you lots of that. I can get you buckets and buckets of plating. He says, but if you want to go through the depths, if you want to get in some fights, maybe it costs a little bit more. Maybe it takes a little longer to find.
What do you have in mind? Better not involve hurting goblins.
He's gonna skin goblins. And he says, I don't. He says, come with me. And he like pulls back a flap, like walks past a couple, finds one of these tents, pulls back a flap, and like invites you in. And through it, you can see it like opens up in the back into like a warehouse. This is like an opening to a warehouse.
Do I get the sense he owns this stuff, or is he taking me to someone else's cash?
I mean, like, that's an interesting question. You get the sense that this guy's like probably going to try and cheat you in some way, but he's not particularly cheating you at the moment, I guess. And he pulls you in. And he says, the truth is, I don't know what you need, and you don't know what you need either. And he's like takes your arms and like stretches them out so that your palms are facing upwards, and clicks his fingers a couple of times, mutters something in that unintelligible language, and a goblin like comes out and starts sniffing your hands, and like
I've seen Snargle do this before.
rubbing his face along your palms, and like the grease transfers, and like it almost seems to like bleed into their skin, and the goblin just like walks off into the warehouse, and ends up coming back a couple of minutes later with just like a trolley full of gear. You can see like ship plating sticking out. You can see some of those hoses that had burst off the owl. You can see like maybe one of the replacement valves for the tri-valve reciprocal steam drive, which has been a bi-valve reciprocal steam drive since that one burst. And the goblin like pushes it in front of you and like looks up at you with like this like seeking praise, like a dog that's brought a stick back.
Well, this looks like the good stuff. What do you want for it?
And the purple guy he shoos the goblin off a little bit and walks forward to you, and he says, most trade in Haven is done with credits. I assume you didn't come here with empty pockets.
Oh, I have some, but I was thinking maybe we have some kind of a deal. Maybe you need something done. I'm pretty handy in a tight spot, and I have a crew that might be interested.
And his eyes track down to see the hilt of like silence strapped to your waist, and he says, "Oh, that kind of trade."
Yeah,
That
kind.
I'll have an idea for this, I think, when we come back. But he
Cool.
we get like the narrowing of the eyes as he's like, I can take advantage of this situation. Where can we move to next? Who's got an idea of what they're doing on Haven here? Naomi, what you got?
I guess I've got an idea for a scene with like Lady Blackbird where she's out exploring the sites, because she's not been here either, right?
No.
Would that be of interest?
That sounds fun.
Okay, where do you think Lady Blackbird would go if she was just out exploring?
What is she feeling like at the moment? Probably somewhere that she shouldn't go to, the most dangerous place.
There's a section that you would have heard about, which is like the pirate bar sort of thing. It's like
yeah, that sounds very exciting. Let's go to the open air pirate bar.
pirates like to be able to see the sky. I don't think they like to be inside for too long.
Yeah, I've heard about this place. Let's go there. I'm going there. You don't have to come.
I will come, milady. And Naomi like, walks in her normal position, 6 feet behind, 2 feet to the right, like she always does.
Yeah, and I think there's probably I think maybe Lady Blackbird starts walking, and she's got her shoulders are open, and she's walking along, and then people just start like bumping into her and shit, and she's like, "Hey, what's going on here?" It's like being surprised that everyone doesn't know who she is, and he's like getting out of her way. She's not like ever walked in a place like this before. I think she looks back, like she looks back for Naomi, and I think kind of I think maybe she's like, "Naomi, come walk with me. People seem to get out of your way."
And I think Naomi like makes eye contact with her very significantly and just like stares straight ahead, and then looks off to the side and just keeps walking in the place where she already is.
And I think maybe Lady Blackbird she kind of looks around at how other people are moving and what they're doing, and gets a bit more of a grim look on her face, and like starts like shouldering her way through the crowd. Yeah. And will we pass it off and arrive after some other people have established something, Sid, or do you want us to?
I want to establish two facts, which is that Naomi, as you walk in to this like open air section, the first thing you notice is that there are scattered amongst the patrons a few of like your people, and they are comfortable and enjoying themselves, and they look happy, and they look beholden to no one. And for the Lady Blackbird, the name of this place is it's called the Pirate King, and there is like a giant carved wooden relief of Uriah Flint sitting up like underneath that name above the entrance to this place.
Interesting.
So I think Naomi. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think Naomi sees like she hasn't seen her people in their like native setting for what, a decade, I think we said. So she sees all these purple people, and they're wearing like these like flowing, brightly colored silks and whatnot. Really similar to the faded version that she has tied around her arm, actually. And the spices that hit her, because this place actually serves, I think, among other things, it serves the food that her people eat. So she smells all these like wafts of this spicier food that she hasn't been able to get for years. And it just immediately brings her back to, when she used to cook food at home for her daughter. And she remembers that just for a moment, that sizzle and that pop of like food cooking as she used to make it and sing to her daughter every day.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. Cyrus, where do you go to?
So I think there's this very like first off, there's we see Cyrus walking down some pretty dark and dingy spots, right? And like little alleyways of a sort, right? Um, and I think there's a, we have this moment where Cyrus is being followed, and he turns a corner, and we're following the follower, right? And this person goes to try to like surprise Cyrus, but then gets surprised by Cyrus because if it's now obvious Cyrus like knew he was getting tracked, and just knocks the guy out or whatever. But rifles through his stuff and sees again one of these little like wanted flyers. It's like from the Empire, and he just kind of sighs, and he like rips it up and throws it on the ground and just keeps on going wherever he was going, right? So that's just a little bit of like flavor. There's like this dark alley kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, I love it.
I think
I love it.
He like walks up to some actually just it looks like a wall with like some trash bin, and there's some junkie who's high on something down on the ground. Probably we see something cool as far as like that the way that looks, but he kind of like looks back and forth on the alley and like knocks in a weird way on the wall, and we see it kind of opens up. It's like a panel door or something, and he walks in and he starts negotiating with somebody at a table, right? There's at first you might even think it was like some goblin, but it's really like this like short old person, right? It's just a human, right? And he's got all this equipment around him, and asking him like what do you want? And he pulls out a big wad of cash, right? And just drops it on the ground and or on the table, and he says, first I need this removed. And he rolls up his sleeve, and he has the same tattoo branding thing that we saw on Naomi, right, in a prior scene, like the kind of like slave mark, right, or whatever, right? And he's like, I need this removed. And then he drops down like another little wad of cash, and then he's like, and I need paperwork drawn up for this. And he like slides a bunch of papers over, and the guy looked up at the brand, and he's like, yeah, easy. And then he looks at the paperwork, and he's like, huh, that's not going to be easy. And I think I'm happy to cut it there.
I want to
Unless you got questions.
Yeah, I want to. I'm loving it, and I'm interested. And I don't know if you want to talk about what the papers are for yet, or if you want to.
I mean, definitely like the word owl is on it, right? Like it's definitely something to do with the owl.
Yes. Yeah. I think I want to get some dice on this to figure out like whether what you're asking is too much, basically.
Yeah.
That
sounds good.
Interests me.
Yeah, let's do that.
And so I'm not really sure on the exact details, and I don't want to be, but it sounds like if you've raised eyebrows, we're probably looking at a 4 or a 5. It's your call whether it's challenging or extreme there. What do you think?
I want to make it a 5 because then
it's big shit.
Yeah, we can make a big shit.
Yeah.
So I think, this is definitely like the owl deeds kind of stuff or whatever, right? And I think I'm going to go here with, so try, we got smuggler, definitely haggling here, talking to this guy about what can be done. Forgery is a thing. I want to say deception is part of it. I think that'll cover what I will there.
Okay, cool. So you got 5. You're looking for 5.
I'm gonna throw my entire dice pool in there.
Yeah.
So that makes it 10 total. I think that's what I got.
Cool.
So there's a risk, but hey, no risk, no reward. All right, let's get some purple dice in here.
Let's get some purple.
Ooh, 6.
That's awesome.
Oh,
All
wait, no,
right.
7. Sorry.
7. Ooh.
Even better.
Ooh. Cool. So now we can have some big owl stuff come out when these papers get processed. Yeah, you're right, Stephen. The dice are with you. So I want to come across to Snargle in this place, and I especially I wonder, Snargle, where do you go? What's your plan when you're on land? Especially, I think this is going to be the first time we see you really away from the owl.
Yeah. I had a couple of ideas.
Please.
The first idea was to go to my home shack. The second idea was to actually stay in the owl and explore like being alone with the owl.
Man, both are so good.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go with you either way, but
I'm gonna maybe we'll go we'll go home.
Are there any litter of your litter? Like, do they live on this? You have so many.
Yeah, there's gonna be some.
right?
yeah.
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 Can-
I was just
I
thinking
have
family visit the owl.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you gonna say, Tom?
Well, I was gonna say maybe we could do almost like both, where we see a little bit of Snargle with the owl alone, but then maybe Snargle taking someone like Kale to the shack or something like that.
Yeah,
kinda cool to see somebody
I
else
do want to take Kale to the shack because I feel like we're friends. And
Yep.
I think you need to be swamped by my brood.
Absolutely. So let's see this basically this Fall of Magic scene of Snargle alone with the owl.
So the scene starts off, and you hear the hatch. You hear big loud footsteps, and then the hatch door close, and then you just hear silence and just like the creaking of this old ship, and you just see the back of Snargle, like she's hunched over. She just lets out a big sigh. Then she gets up and you can hear all her bones creak, and she distorts her body a little bit to get out the really painful cricks. And then she walks to the pantry, gets out a tin of briny shrimp, briny rat legs, then clobbers down the steel staircase and into the fuel deck, and she pours them into the fuel tank. And when she's doing that, you can hear some metallic, it's almost like metallic beeping, and there's some sort of pattern to it, which you as a viewer cannot discern, but it's the ship communicating with Snargle. And she's like, yeah, I know these are your favorite, beautiful, you old girl. And she gives the fuel tank a bit of a pat and wanders back upstairs, and she's in she finds her way to her little quarters, and as the metal door is slid open, you see Snargle's modest quarters. There's a mat on the ground with a beautifully crocheted blanket, and there's all these goblin type figures embroidered into it, and some of the patches of embroidery look really juvenile and definitely not up to Snargle's skill level. But when you look closer, there's like names embroidered underneath it. So this beautiful quilt, there's each of her children have added a patch to her blanket, and then she just sits down on her mat and holds this blanket close and takes off the pilot goggles, takes off the pilot leather jacket, and she then you see her like naked, this kind of green, bony, shriveled old person, and she pulls this yellow light, possibly cotton flowing dress, and it just fits her, and she looks almost 1,000 years younger, and she stands up straight and tall, and her bones aren't cricking anymore, and she kicks off her boots and she walks barefoot off the ship.
Bravo.
So good.
So good. All right. So Kale, this trader, who I'm gonna need a name for, which Stephen, I'll ask you what someone from Naomi's culture would be called, what name they would carry, especially like not an indentured person. So what name would they naturally have?
So her people are actually called the Stoneborn, which is mainly because no one really knows where they come from. They're extremely private, like they cover themselves heavily with this silken material and whatnot all the time. And they're all really big. Like Naomi is large for her species, but like they're all really large, muscular people. So Ashman, I think is his name.
Cool. So Ashman has given you his problem is that some goblins have liberated some equipment that they were meant to be looking after, and he says that they told him that it wanted to be free, and he needs to get it back. The problem is, not only does he have to look after the warehouse, it's in like the goblin housing community, and he's like, if I go in there and take it back, like they're probably gonna, they're probably gonna take me apart and use me for parts. So
I told you not to get me involved with goblins.
And he shrugs and he says, "Hey, if I could do this job without getting involved with goblins, I would."
All right. So we get your equipment back, and in exchange, we get this plating. Is that the deal?
And he says, in exchange, absolutely. And like he like jostles the entire trolley that he's got there back and forth, and you hear like bits rattle down out of view underneath. And he says, lots of things. He says, this is goblin selected equipment. You'll love it.
I kind of smirk. I say, all right, I'll get back to you in just a minute. I want to call in to Captain Vance and see what he thinks about it. Actually, I want to call in to Snargle also. Just kind of step out of range, this Ash fellow, and call into them and see if they're in on this. It's kind of risky, right? I don't want to get the crew in trouble doing something by myself. So yeah, I call in Snargle. Hey, Snargle, is the captain around? I got a job for us. Might be pretty good.
Nah, boyo, I just got off the owl. I've got the wireless with me. What up? He didn't actually say what up. That was just
yeah, this job's a little tricky, Snargle. It's actually in goblin territory, dealing with hot property stolen by goblins. Feel like you might be pretty good for this, the delicate stuff.
I've listen, kid. I just got off the ship. I'm not really ready to go and talk business. And why are you scared of like the goblin blocks? Like, what's your problem?
I don't know. I don't feel good about just grabbing this stuff off the goblins. I'm sure they had good reason to take it to begin with. You know, this isn't my typical target.
What? You're gonna rob goblins?
Well, see, that's the thing. I'm hoping maybe with your help we can maybe pull a fast one on my employer and the goblins come out on top.
I'm staying out of this. You've gotten yourself into whoever you're working with is of the worst kind. Don't waste another minute with him. I'm going home. You've got that map of where my shack is. Come see me.
All right, and then I do a quick call to Captain Vance. Hey, CV. You heard of this guy named Ash?
Yeah. What about him?
Yeah, I've got a job for us that might get us all the plating we need to patch up the owl. But it's going to require dealing with goblins.
Sounds good. You got this. All right. And I like click off the radio. Like giving him no help.
The guy sitting across from you, Cyrus, is like, that sounded important. Do you want to? No, that's all right.
Yeah, we're in. I tell this guy. You got yourself a deal.
And he just cyberpunky stuff. He just unscrolls this bit of, oh no, he picks up something off the ground. He just picks up like a it's like a spool of parchment that would print out for a ship as part of like a ticker tape basically for a ship. And he just unscrolls a bit and he writes some directions down, tears it off, and puts it in your hand. And as he hands it to you, you see over his shoulder the goblin that brought all that stuff to you is looking incredibly distressed about this. Is sad that you're going to do this.
I give a knowing look. Is there any way I could convey to this goblin some sort of it's gonna be all right with just my expression? Maybe using a bit of let's see. Yeah, I don't really have them. I could use magic here, but I feel like it might be going a little too far.
I feel like magic would probably draw a bit more attention to you than you.
What about, can you, I reckon you could totally use mechanic in some clever way. Because you're speaking their language right there, right?
Yeah. I don't see how I can do it right now, but I'm gonna give the goblin kind of a look, like, meet me outside. Just
I have an idea. You
go
could
for it.
ask the trader, hey, give me your goblin, help me with the heavy lifting.
Yeah, he doesn't know I know a goblin yet, so I tell him. Perfect. I say, for this job, I'm actually in need this goblin right here. He seems to know his way around, and I'm going to might land in some trouble with these goblins, and this will be my way out.
Great. Let's see some dice. I think that's going for a 3.
Okay, here we go. So, don't really have any kind of manipulation.
Yeah, that's super interesting. Hey, I love it.
I keep looking for some kind of manipulation, social thing for this, but this one is not.
I mean, that's why you've got 7 7 dice. Yeah, but you know.
Okay, so let's do that. So I start with 3, and maybe, yeah, I'm just gonna use my pool. Fuck it, I'll use 4 dice.
Could I contribute just from having that long relationship with Kale and giving him the confidence to like do this kind of thing?
Maybe that's the help. Was the call?
I'm with Tomes on this. I like that Kale's on his own and that he's out of his. Oh, sorry, she's on her own and she's out of her depth.
Yeah. All right.
I like that this is hard for you. And Ellen, I thought it was a really great idea and super creative, and I love it. But no, be alone.
All right, so I'm going to go with that.
You're not good at this.
I am.
So your target is 3. How many of your pool dice are you rolling?
Yeah, so I started with 3, and I'm spending 4 pool.
Cool. What's the 3 that you start with there?
Sorry.
Using?
I thought that tricky.
Tricky?
Right? Yeah, maybe tricky, and that's actually, honestly, that's it.
Really. Cool. All right. So you've got 1 for trying, 1 for tricky, and did you say 4 pool dice you want to use to give yourself a total of 6?
Yeah.
6 to find 3 successes. Let's see how we go.
Okay.
Feel free to put more of that pool dice here.
I got it.
Hey, nice work. Awesome. Just.
Use my pool.
Yeah, cool. He like looks at you, looks at the goblin, and he like just shrugs, and he says, "If anything happens to it, bring me back another one." And like walks back out onto the street to pull in his next customer.
Yeah, I looked at the goblin. I said, "What's your name?"
Snuggle, you want to help me out with a goblinish name? And I'm thinking something. Oh, yeah, something particularly young.
Kerbin.
Kerbin's a great goblin name.
Kerbin.
God damn. I'm so bad with names, and you guys are so amazing with them.
What was the employer's name? Ashman.
Ashman.
Okay.
And Kerbin is the goblin hiring. And I think you like get a smile from this goblin, and it's like unnaturally big because they stretch their like cheeks to keep the smile going.
Mm-hmm.
So it like rises right up above their eyes.
Yeah. I say, Kerbin, don't you worry. Things are going to turn around for you. And I nod my head, and we can cut right there.
Absolutely. Oh, man. Okay. I've got so much more I want to do, including the Lose makeout scene. But I think that's probably going to be a cold open for next week. And I think we'll go into Stars and Wishes. It's a bit of an early... I think it's going to be a bit of an early finish for us this week. But
like, okay with that. Lots of time for thinking about imaginary making out.
Yeah, please.
Really good.
Please do.
We'll have to practice, Ellen.
Does anyone have like a scene that they're really, really like super desperate to get out this week? That
maybe.
Yeah,
are we gonna? Well, so are we gonna have a scene of Snargle and her home, and then?
No, that's gonna happen next week.
Okay. Then you know what? I'll wait. I'll wait till next.
Okay, cool.
I don't know.
You sure? Are you sure, James?
Yes. Okay. I want a scene where Cyrus is walking back to the ship,
mm-hmm.
and like and nobody's there right now, right? Like everyone's out in one place or another, right? And and he's kind of rubbing on his shoulder because whatever procedure they use to kind of remove that thing, like it looks like it smarts or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so walks up into the ship, goes over to. He's got a couple things in his hand, and Snargle's little like patch with the blanket and all that stuff. Was that like Snargle's room? Was that its own little?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Cyrus just walks up to like this panel. Is it like a panel door or something that opened up into it or something.
Yeah,
So-
I like that.
Okay, so like there's this kind of like junky looking panel with a little turn kind of like handle thing, and he turns it and it pops up almost like this kind of like submarine hatch or something, right? And we see kind of that little nook, right? And he takes out, like, he's got these papers, and it's like the owl deed, right? And he throws it down there, and then he takes off the captain pin and he throws it down there as well, and then closes the hatch.
I'm about to cry for Snargle. That is amazing.
Oh man, that's such a great end. Oh my god.
Yes, times.
So I want to see what Bioth looks like, because I think that's the acknowledge someone else is the leader. So I think
Oh
I'm trying
really?
to
Oh fuck yeah! Do that. Do that. So the key of the commander. So when you buy it off, you get 2 advances straight up. You can, if you want, use one of them to purchase another key, which there's like lists of them at the bottom of the thing, so that you've got another XP trigger, or you can just use them both to get cool character stuff that you want. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Up to you.
Yes.
Oh my god, so good. Wow. All right. Does everyone want to take a minute or two, roll out, de-roll, come back, and we'll chat about it? Cool. Catch in 2. Did you have fun, Stephen?
I had a great time. How are you feeling, man? You said you were throwing up earlier.
Yeah, I just bit of food poisoning. It was just dumb bad cooking stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done this thing where like forever I've always said like your body was oh god, Lou. Oh man. I've always said like your body will tell you if something's not good, like just start eating it, and if it like tastes bad or smells bad, then it is, and then it's not. I'm not a doctor. I'm not very good at it. And so yeah.
That's why you shouldn't eat gross meat things. It was meat, wasn't it?
Shut up, Lou.
Yeah, I had a great time. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I really like. We saw some really cool moments of like heart and character in this, in amongst everything else. Was awesome. Really exciting.
Yeah, that session was like a really good mix of like action and like the really heartfelt moments. I think that one like really hit everything together.
What do you think, Ellen?
Ellen's crying.
So amazing. I don't even know what Snuggle's gonna do.
Yeah, Ellen came running into here going like, oh my god, I got my own ship!
Every goblin dream come true.
Oh man, I'm really excited about that. About like Snuggle being a captain. I'm really excited about what that means for Cyrus and what his plan is next. I'm super excited for Naomi like stepping away from Lady Blackbird. That seems to be happening more and more, and like not stepping up. So I'm super excited about that. Oh, it's gonna be so good, so good.
And then I'm also wondering, like, Is Ellen gonna take it and break our hearts with it at the end?
Well, you have given me that option. That's what I'm weighing up. I'm like, ooh, this could be fun.
See how it plays out.
Yeah, we get back and this Al's just gone. And we don't see Snargle again.
It's just full of goblins. It just flies around as a goblin ship. Fuck, I'd watch that though. That'd be the best. I've gone from the start of this session thinking like, I don't really know how we're going to stretch this out into 4 sessions to feeling like, how the hell are we going to do everything in 1 more session?
Oh, we're totally not gonna. I kind of hope we don't finish it and it's just like it's Firefly that gets cancelled, even though it was really good. We just don't get to know what happened.
I'm looking at the advancements, and when you buy a new trait, you don't start with any tags. You need to buy them with XP. Seriously, we need to play like 20 more games so we can build our traits and grow emotionally.
I think it would be awesome if at the very end of session 4, like that's when we actually, like the last scene is Lady Blackbird like going up to meet Uriah Flint, and then it's just like that's it.
Yeah, it's got that real and then they met vibe.
Yeah, and then they met, and you have no idea what actually happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always found with Lady Blackbird, the Uriah stuff feels a bit weird once you get there. Because he has to either, if you've still got playtime left, you're like, okay, so does he reject the lady, or like does he turn out to be an arsehole, or like how does this work? And it always feels really like disingenuous. So
Yeah, or she's just like not into him after she gets all the way there.
Yeah, which is cool. I do love that. All right, so welcome back, all. Standard stars and wishes to see us out. I think we went like no, Naomi's overprotective and made him an asshole. That's super true. I think we went Ari to me, and then last week we went that way, and this week I don't know. Let's go for right to left along the character sheet. So we'll start with Ellen. Snargle. Ellen, what's your star?
My star goes out to you, Sid. Firstly, I really enjoyed your imagery and your sound effects, but also, yeah, for being on time. And you're sick. Like, oh yeah, I've just been vomiting all day. No, seriously, whoop, as well. Amazing. We love you.
Thank you. Super kind. Kale or Ari, give us your star.
Yeah, my star is going to go to Tomer, not just as playing his character out, the captain so well, but just as a player, giving layups to the GM and other players all over the place, just setting things up. And then even like that finishing scene was pretty fucking amazing. So yeah, I'm going to give you the star today.
Yeah, I loved it too.
Thanks, guys. I actually have like I'll share 2 of them. One, I actually loved when Ari as Kale was like struggling, like, what do I do? Oh, I'll use a lifeline, and you call and like, nope, call, nope. And it was so great because I've been that player that in some games you're just like, I don't really know. Maybe someone can help me figure this out, and like it just translated really well between both player and character. Like you were just like on your own. You just had to like do it. It was great. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna leave it there because yeah.
Dope. Steven?
I gotta give mine to Ellen because like all the snargolific descriptions were just absolutely incredible. Especially the one like the private scene on the owl was really, really good. And like bringing Snargle's family and everything over and over is like a really cool trend, I think, and something that plays out really well. And then and then like the awesome crocheted boarding ladder, which was incredibly creative. I love how like goblin-y and snargly the ship gets like every session. It's like a little bit more of Snargle's like Nana perspective, like slips into the owl every time we play.
And Lou?
I was going to share mine between Toma and Stephen, but I'll just focus. Someone already said the Toma stuff, so I'll just give the star to Stephen, which was similar to what yeah, sorry, I just give it and then I take it away. Yeah, it was that similar sort of layup thing that Ari was saying, and even though you were kind of like building your character and that scene where you stood back in the entrance to the thing, where it was just really good, like playing. It was cool to see and letting the scene kind of play out, and I just liked it. Then I tried to use it as well with leaving like I was trying to learn from it by leaving Cyrus behind when I left the scene as well. So you taught me like a cool thing, and then I tried to use it straight away so I'd know how to like do it in the future. So that was cool.
And mine's actually really on that same vein, and I'm allowed to do this because I'm the GM, Lou, but I'm going to give a star to everyone for two reasons. One is that I feel like we're hitting theme really well. So, Stephen, you mentioned it about like the theme of freedom. I think we spoke about it at the end of the first session, and it's just come through really, really strongly. Like everyone's hitting it really well. That's a really, really good thread to see. And the other one is this idea of how you're all like not necessarily hanging people out to dry, but putting people on their own and being like, no, this is your spotlight time. Like, do the thing. And yeah, it might be hard. And yeah, you might fail at it, but it's yours. And I love that. I love that play culture that's coming through. Wishes. Oh man, wishes are so hard. I guess my first will be a promise, which we'll start with a cold open makeout scene for Uriah Flint, Lou, because I have been promising you that for like 2 sessions. What else? What other wish do I want to say? Oh, my wish is I don't know if you've all picked up on this, but the goblins that have taken the stuff that Kale needs to get back is Snuggles' family, right? So like that is the scene that I want to see, is like those two arriving at the same place for different reasons, and like the conflict that happens there about like Kale wanting things, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. So I have a rule about RPGs, which is if you can draw a line between 2 points, you have to. And so if there's a group of goblins that have done things, it has to be the group of goblins we've already spoken about. So that's my wish scene. Lou, you're first up, and then back.
I want to. We missed a bit in you talking about your descriptions. That goblin smile was awesome. That's why I had to like draw the little like picture straight away.
So upsetting.
Well, it was creepy and cute at the same time. I really liked it. I'm just going to wish for more creepy and cute goblin descriptions when we meet the goblins, like weird, cute, like but creepy shape-shifting. That seems like a fun wish.
Yeah, I'm loving like the otherworldly nature of goblins. Like I think it makes them really other, that like they just stretch and grow and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, who's up? Stephen.
Yeah, so I guess this is like bleed over from Naomi or whatever, but I really want to see like where Lady Blackbird goes. Like it's not really enough for me to just see like if she ends up with a guy or not. Like I want to see, what she want to go and do. Like where does she want to kind of go on her own? I think that would be a cool scene, since everything kind of centers around, you know, her quest or whatever. I kind of want to see, like, you know, what she do with her life.
Yeah, that's a really, really, really good point. I'll have to think on that for a whole week.
I think that's great. I actually like just hearing that. I think gave me, because I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to say for wishes, but I think I'd like to see that for everyone, right? Like even with my, just thinking of my own character, like I wasn't 100% sure kind of what's gonna happen next, right? But like I think I would love to see, you know, like I'm thinking of Kale and I'm thinking of, you know, Snargle and everyone, and I really would love to see that for all of them. Like, you know, not just like, okay, they got a thing or whatever, but like, you know, like feel where they're going, you know? I think that'd be awesome.
And I like how much we've started to see the setups for that. Like nothing's going to feel like it comes out of nowhere. Some buyout scenes, perfect.
Yes, that's good.
I think you're next, Ari.
What does that mean? What is a buyout scene?
Buy off, sorry, which is like when you reject one of your keys. So there, some people have like key of the mission or key of this, and it's like, so Cyrus's is key of leadership or key of the commander, and his buy off is acknowledge someone else's the.
Oh yeah, I totally get it now in the context of the rules. I thought it was a different thing that I didn't know something about.
It's a cool thing, and it's a good term to use across different systems. Yeah. So Ari, what's your wish? Oh, sorry, I'm muted, Ari.
Oh, I was saying, thanks. It's pretty amazing what you can do with 15 pages of rules. I hope we can wrap this up in one more session. It feels like we could go on for 4 or 5 more, honestly, with all of these threads. That's my wish, actually, honestly. Just get all this stuff in one session is going to be a lot of work, I think.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of people choosing. And like more and more, I've sort of been saying to you guys, like, what's the first one? I was like, here's a scene. How do you react to it? Because I want you to like find your characters. But now I want to see where you're pushing them. So I think that the last, have a think about like what things you need to see and stuff. Because
what's important to us.
Yeah.
We can't get to everything, but we can get to what's important.
Exactly. We will not be able to get to everything. Cool. And what is your wish, Ellen?
Well, not really, but kind of the opposite to Ari. Play forever. Like, just let's not stop playing. Don't worry about wrapping it up. We'll just play every Tuesday until we die. But no, I want to see some more magic. I want to see Lady Blackbird interacting with Kale and smash out some magic tutorials.
Yeah, I've got that written down. Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, that would be right. Because like, that's so. Oh man, there's got to be this connection between the Sky Squids and magic, and like how that interacts with Lady Blackbird, and like the religious part of it. And oh man, amazing. Far out. I have so much fun doing this with y'all, and I'm so happy that we have such a wonderful crew. And I'm so sad that we've only got a week left, but it's just like the best. I don't know what to say over the next 7 days except like think about what you want to see, because I want you guys to push for what's important to you, because I feel like I've done my job, which is to like get you guys established in these characters, and now it's your job, which is show me what you do with them. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to say before we roll out?
See you later, rat bags.
Briny rat bags.
Briny rat bag. Yeah.
Briny rat bags.
All right. Farewell,
No,
Brad.
thanks. Just want to say that once again, like I woke up and I'm like, oh, do I really want to be awake right now? And then like the answer is always yes. But you know, like once I get 2 minutes into this game, I'm just like, oh my God. Like after this is over, I'm like, I need to find the next 1:30 a.m. game.
Yeah. I just said, I hope you feel better,
sorry.
Sid.
Sorry, what was that?
Oh,
Stephen?
I just said I hope you feel better, Sid. And thanks for playing while you were
Ah,
halfway.
fine. I love this. This is my therapy. This is my this is my medicine. Gets me feeling better. Actually, I do. I feel a lot better than I took like 3 showers today. I feel so much better now. It's great. Yes, thank you, everyone. I'll stop the recording. So farewell to Rich Rogers and the other 2 people that are watching this.